I am WriterMaven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipts podcast. I follow JD, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, and Carlito, and then I also talk about Rhea and Damien. This Monday Night Raw um, was frustrating because they won't pull the trigger. However, I got to experience Shane Freud because now Liv and Dom fans and Finn fans and just Judgment Day fans in general can say to EO and Bianca fans, we told you so, and karma is a bitch. Now, why would we say that karma is a bitch? It's because now they're experiencing what Liv and Dom fans had to deal with Rhea. All the EO and Bianca fans or anybody else that's not a fan of Liv were just talking, just dragging her fans for complaining about not being in, in the in the te- in the title match, telling her to hold a tag rope, all this dragging for the month, just saying that the feud failing or getting repetitive was Liv's fault. But now they're seeing that now it's Rhea's fault because what the fuck was that? Rhea just comes down during a contract signing, asks Bianca, the Elimination Chamber winner, why she's doing there, cries like a baby about EO slapping her when I thought she was the Eradicator for some reason, and then proceeds to attack Bianca and EO, and then stacks them up on the table. Now we know why Liv and Raquel were going through a table during the live events. Rhea needed practice, which is extremely fucked up still. And that is why Liv fans were complaining about the results. I told y'all yesterday, Liv fans had every right to feel what they felt regarding the live event results. We know it doesn't matter, but still, you still don't want to see Liv and Raquel, your tag team champions, stacked up like that. And now, come to find out, it was just Rhea using Liv and Raquel as practice for EO, and Bianca. So and then the cherry on top is that Rhea just comes down and then just signs her name to the contract. Now, the positive here is that Scrap Daddy Adam Pierce was not having it with Rhea. He pretty much called her, took the contract, and then it's null and void contract. He's not just saying just because she signed her name to the contract, it means that she's in the match. So Scrap Daddy at least did that. So, but again, the kicker is that Rhea 1v2s EO and Bianca. You remember how Rhea would just take out Liv, Dom, everybody in Judgment Day on her own? She pretty much did the same thing with EO and Bianca and just took them out. So she got to take out EO and Bianca twice in one night. Again, Liv fans are really having fun with this because now people are saying, well, maybe Liv fans were right. People about Damien's no selling ass, and we told people about Rhea. Nobody wanted to believe us. Everybody thought we were just being dramatic. It was just Damien being sucked into the Judgment Day vortex. It was Rhea being dragged into the Judgment Day vortex. But now y'all get why we were complaining. And this feeling is sweet. The whole title scene is still all fucked up because I really don't like how Liv is still being excluded. We still have no direction for Liv at this moment. And I was really hoping they would do something now. But we have no direction for Liv. Single title, single match, tag titles. We have nothing. Nothing was hinted. Like if we were expecting Alexa and Nikki, I would at least be expecting like a Lily doll or some screen glitches. We didn't get any of that. If we were expecting a single match, we didn't get any kind of hint of that. We got nothing regarding Liv, and it's so fucked up. We are about 5 to 4 weeks away from WrestleMania, and we still don't have any direction for Liv. However, Bianca did tweet out a really interesting tweet saying, why not make it a fatal 4-way? So a lot of the Liv fans are jumping on that on the X. I strongly encourage y'all to go read Bianca's latest tweet regarding it. Pretty much, people are calling anything on social media right now, at least on the X, or people are calling Rhea like a crybaby. People are wondering why she's getting all these opportunities for titles. And I think Sean Ross Sapp said that the plan was always Io, Rhea, and Bianca, but it's easy to make that determination just by what's playing out right now. So take that with a huge grain of salt. Even though I put a lot more weight into what Sean Ross says, he's still wrong too. And the dirt sheets have been wrong a lot during this build to WrestleMania. So take that with a huge grain of salt. But yeah, the whole thing it really exposed Rhea. She was just a bully. She hasn't grown. She's nothing. And people are saying, well, and then I was saying that she's still the face in this, and people are just saying, well, she didn't get cheered here. She got a huge pop when she came out. And she's still going to be cheered when she goes to the States. She's still a face in this scenario. Bianca is still a face in this scenario. I saw people saying, well, Bianca could be the tweener. Nah, Bianca ain't no tweener. She's a face. She gets her cheers too. Same with Io. It's still a face versus face versus face match if they go triple threat. So we're still without a true heel. Bianca can't be a true heel just yet. Rhea is close to being a true heel, what she's doing now, but she's still going to get cheered. As soon as she gets back to the States, she's going to get cheered. And that's that non-wrestling fan contingent there. She's going to get cheered. She's not going to get booed for this. All she got to do is run out there and say the same old tired shit of mommy's on top, I'm number one, and all that. She's just going to say the same tired shit, and people will just eat it up because it's the non-wrestling fan. So, Liv had a really interesting tweet saying, like, she always has to make it all about her, which was hilarious in this. So, some people were just going to be just saying, well, now you're going to be, fighting Nikki and stuff like that. Again, we still have not heard anything, no hide or hair of Nikki or Alexa during this thing. And if Alexa's still at home, she's still not going to be a part of a build for WrestleMania, and that's like 2 weeks. They're going to still be out on the international tour, so you're still losing all this build. So right now, Liv's status is really up in the air and it's really fucked up. I was hoping she would at least have a clue of what she's going to do, unless they're going to throw Liv into this thing very last minute, which is possible. I mean, it's still hard for me to see what she's going to do. But that's Triple H's booking for you. But like I said, this Raw was more like I told you so regarding Io and Bianca fans. Now you get it. Now you get why we were saying that Rhea has always been the problem. But anywho, let me see. Thank you for the likes. Now let's go to the rest of Raw, shall we? This is mostly more about Dom and Finn and the IC title match. Dom was spotted talking to Karrion, a grin. I had incorrectly said Carlito because I saw the mustache, so I thought it was Carlito. But it was Dom talking to Karrion Kross. Karrion had a really interesting tweet, which I'll share after this. Where's my profile? Let me save it. Let's see. Alright. Oh, here we go. Karrion Kross said, I had a wonderful conversation tonight with two colleagues about new perspectives to take into consideration. So many unlimited directions for the future, time, balance, and judgment. So take it for what you will. I'm not sure if Karrion's going to be the new member of Judgment Day, but he seems like he's doing something there with Dom. So Dom and him have been talking. And so we finally go to like the Judgment Day hangout. The hangout was Liv and Raquel. Finn is initially all smiles, hyping up Raquel and Liv, because Raquel has her IC title match next week against Lyra in Scotland. Liv did something interesting, was trying to warn Dom when Dom came in about something before she moved on. People are always just trying to say that Liv kind of abandoned Dom there, but I don't think so. I think that's just more setting up Carlito's like punchline towards the end, and not really about Liv just abandoning Dom, because it wasn't really about that just yet. But you know how people make that up. And then Finn's attitude changed. You could actually see the physical change of Finn's attitude when Dom said he wanted to recruit a new TJ member, and then Dom said he wanted to bring in Penta. Now, if y'all know Dom, for the past month, we know that Dom has not been talking to Penta. In fact, it's been the opposite. He's been kind of antagonistic towards Penta, and we know Dom's record regarding mass luchadors. He don't like them. So saying Penta is one way of throwing Finn off the trail. And then this also exposed how Finn really feels about Dom. Because Finn goes irate, calls Dom a snake. You know, the guy that got you the Intercontinental Championship title opportunity, he calls Dom a snake. And like my IC title. So Finn really exposed himself here. Really showed Dom his true feelings. And it just shows that Finn just likes Dom when Dom does something that benefits Finn. But as soon as Dom deviates or doesn't want to do anything or wants to do something on his own, just like Damian, Rhea, Ray, and Edge before him, Finn has a problem. And then Carlito comes in and says, "Don't you watch the TV?" Because Penta had announced earlier that he was going for the IC. And I consider that a sneak diss because it was Carlito being used as the truth sayer. Remember how I always say that Carlito always says and tells the truth? I mean, he was being humorous about it, and this was kind of looked like it was directed towards Dom. But this could be interpreted that he was directing this towards Finn because Finn hasn't been paying attention to the TV. Because if Finn had been paying attention to the TV or being focused on what Dom is doing, he would know that he's been talking to Karrion. He would know he's been talking to Pete Dunne. He would know he's been talking to Ludwig. But Finn doesn't notice that because it's all about him. But yeah, that was like more of a sneak diss from Carlito to Finn rather than Dom himself. Then Braun versus Finn. I really didn't pay too much attention to the match per se. It's just a typical Finn Braun match. Dom and Carlito do show up. Notice the commentary here. Cole was taking Finn's side, which is really, again, I'm tired of Cole sometimes. Like, anybody that goes against Dom is just automatically, Cole is pretty much hyping them up. But you can see now that the turn is going to be happening with Finn because Cole was taking Finn's side regarding Dom. But still, like, how are you going to tell somebody that got you an Intercontinental Championship opportunity a snake? Like, really, Cole? Then Dom accidentally on purpose, cost Finn the match by knocking Finn onto the turnbuckle. Now, I'm leaning more towards accidentally on purpose. He's doing pretty much like what he did with Liv. Instead of the benefit of helping out Liv during this time, this was a benefit to hurt Finn because Finn showed Dom his true colors. And then after that, Dom and Carlito attack. They attack Braun. And then notice that we get Dom grabbing the IC belt. Now, Dom could have grabbed anything. Dom could have grabbed a chair. He could have grabbed like a table. He could have did anything. A kendo stick under the ring. He could have grabbed anything. But instead, he elected to grab the Intercontinental Championship. So, again, Dom attacking Braun here just pretty much still keeps him in the IC title talk. Well, I know Penta's kind of declared, but Dom is still surrounding that. And then Penta comes out and chases everybody off, and then we get the whole, like, standing up and Braun holding the IC title up as we go off the air. While Braun and Penta's going to be a good match, you still need a story. Like I said, we always need a story. You can't just have good matches. Braun and Finn bring a story to the IC title, so I'm really thinking it's going to be multi-man at WrestleMania. And by the way things are looking now, we're not going to get that trigger pull with Finn and Dom just yet. It's probably going to be all the way to WrestleMania. So we got to deal with this for another 4 weeks, looks like. At this particular moment, I would not be surprised that we get a trigger pull of Dom turning on Finn before WrestleMania. It looks like it'll just, the trigger pull will happen at WrestleMania, and by then we'll probably be tired of it and be thinking, thank God, whenever we finally get that trigger pull. But again, that kind of makes sense because you can have Dom and Finn in that match and then have Finn thinking he'd win it, and then Dom turns on him to steal the win. And that goes in line with Dom's characterization, especially if they're going to Eddie route with some of this setup. So it's possible. But yeah, like I said, I'm expecting multi-man for the IC title at WrestleMania. And that's fine. As long as Dom is in title contention, he's in the match, I'm perfectly fine with it. Other Raw notes. As I said, Raquel versus Lyra for the women's IC is next week on Raw. I'm not sure if we're going to have a title change. It is 50-50. But it will tickle me pink if Raquel was able to get that title. Especially if Dom helps out. Like he helped out with Liv and Raquel for the tag team. If he helps Raquel out to win, again, that just shows that you're winners with Dom. And then Finn was saying with Finn you win again, like earlier tonight, so or earlier in the day. So of course that's being proven to be false. So I wouldn't be surprised. Some like Santi's app said that he was really expecting maybe Finn could win just because everybody else has been winning titles during the main events, but he said of course Finn loses his. So, you might fling it back where Raquel wins. You got Bayley in there saying that Lyra said that Bayley has next after, as the next title shot contender. And she's kind of already looking past Raquel. And that might come back to haunt her, especially if Roxanne is still lurking around Bayley. Like, you'll have Lyra look past Raquel and be looking toward Bayley, but Roxanne could sneak in there. And I still kind of really want Roxanne to be, like, around Judgment Day. Because I think that would fit, and I think that would help her out. So, we could have something interesting there. Because I don't know what Roxanne is going to do. Because Roxanne, it seems like she lost to Jordan Grace, and now she's out, but she had a little bit of a beef with Bayley, so I don't know. And then, what else was on Raw? Jay Uso had a horrible botch, which really made you think of why is he in a championship match at WrestleMania? Like, why, dude? I know everybody botches, but ooh, that was a horrible botch. I hope he's okay. Cena had was talking about why he turned heel, and I guess he was describing his relationship with the fan as an abusive relationship. I'm like, okay, whatever, Cena. It's a good promo, and then Cody came out and called him a whiny bitch, so it was okay. I mean, like I said, I'm really not too impressed with the heel turn. This should have happened years and years ago during the PG era when it could have benefited somebody. So, right now I'm just jaded about it. I mean, maybe we could do something else to build it up, but me personally, I'm just jaded about the heel turn. But that's just me. Everybody else liked it, so it is what it is. And the match Luchador, Grande Americano, or whoever he is, attack Ray and Dragon. I don't think that's Chad Gable. He has the similar mannerisms as Chad Gable, but it's not Chad Gable. So I'm not sure who they would do with that. So yeah, I'm not sure who this Luchador is. Oh, and speaking of Chad Gable, while we're still all about like Finn and Dom and IC, remember that Chad Gable still owes Dom a favor. So that can pretty much come into play for this whole multi-man match that's coming up pretty soon as well. So we had that. So like I said, this Raw was just more like a case of I told you so. again, people are really finding out that Rhea has always been the problem. She hasn't learned. We thought that with that promo that she was going to change, and then all of a sudden she's doubling down on her bad behavior. That is the quickest turnaround of whiplash I have ever seen in my life. Like, how are you going to go from that promo that people were praising all week to being just this character that makes no sense? The whole thing makes no sense. Like, you're asking Bianca why she's here like she ain't the Elimination Chamber winner. Like, what the fuck? It's a whole jumbled mess. So, I know there was something with, like, I think it was Liv and Raquel, the ex. I haven't seen it yet. Let me just see if there was, check the X before going into some questions. Because people's been kind of cackling about it all day long regarding Rhea. So, yeah, at least now people are just saying, like, one tweet is saying, like, it's funny folks still don't know that Triple H's formula for Rhea Ripley. These folks who think she's being booked like a heel, no, this is Triple H booking for her like a babyface. This is what the crowd wants from her. What John Cena did tonight was heel work. Yeah, that was a distinct what John Cena did, even though I'm jaded about it, is heel work. That's a heel. That's what you're supposed to do. You're doing everything you can to make the crowd hate you, and John Cena did that. I mean, just because I'm jaded doesn't mean that I can't recognize good heel work, because that was good heel work. What Rhea Ripley's doing is just the same thing. People want to see it. She's going to get cheered by it. Those fans of hers, and these are just Rhea fans. These are not wrestling fans. These are just Rhea stans. They want her to keep doing all this. But now it's still fucking up the women's division because she's a heel booked as a face, and then the crowd treats her like a face. So you're always going to have this problem. Liv lean, even though she would get cheered, she would lean heavily into her heel side by being obnoxious. Liv would do things to make people hate her. I mean, you're going to get cheered too sometimes, just like how she Liv was in Saudi Arabia getting cheered. So she's going to get cheered, but she leans into her obnoxiousness. Rhea, they don't. And somebody said here, like, if they wanted Rhea to be heel, she would stop calling herself mommy. She wouldn't be dressing with all the booty shorts and the briefs and all that with her ass out. And this is not body shaming. I'm just saying it like it is. She wouldn't be trying to go to be like this sexy muscle mommy that that people want. She's catering to that demographic, and so she's going to keep getting cheered. And if they wanted to stop her from getting cheered like that, she would change all that stuff. Like, you would think with Dom away from her, she would stop calling herself mommy, but she's not, and there's a reason for that. So, oh, also regarding Rhea, while I'm thinking about it, Zoe and Shayna Baszler were talking about, like, how Rhea, so now all we got to do is just sign on the line. And I'm really liking how Shayna and Zoe are mocking Rhea for that, because that shows the ridiculousness of the situation. Like, how you gonna just show up and sign on the dotted line, because anybody could be doing that. Like, with Rhea, if Rhea can sign on the dotted line, what's to say that Liv can't go over there and sign on the dotted line? Shayna, Zoe, anybody. So that's wrong. Let me go up and do some questions. I can't really stay online. There's just so much drama going on right now around me, so I'm gonna see what people said. Thank y'all all for the likes. 97 says, hi, I'm 97. I'm so honestly done with Rhea. Completely done. Yeah, like, if you weren't completely done with Rhea at this moment, and like, you're teetering on the edge, then yeah, I would be done too. Yeah, I would be done. I was done with Rhea a long time ago, and I was someone that was, a fan of hers. But her booking makes you not like her. And Crystal says Liv does another full plan, and that will cause tension, and I don't think Liv will want the kingpin. She does know the plan. She was just warning Dom not to say what he probably wanted to say. Liv has pretty much been on board with Dom since it started. She deferred to his decision last week. So now I don't see why. I mean, why would she not want to kick Finn? He's been negging her. He's been negging Raquel. He's been negging Carlito. And, like, you don't really. the pin taker of the group. So I don't think this is not just being something that's caused division with Liv and Dom. See here. Barbie Girl says, "Mad they didn't give Liv her rematch." Yeah, like if they didn't want to have a Liv fans to not be pissed off about her not being in this triple threat match, making it a fatal 4-way, then they should have gave Liv her rematch while Rhea was sitting on her ass for like 3 months. You know, they should have gave her the rematch then, have Liv lose, and then we wouldn't be having this issue right now. 97 says, I believe Liv versus Jade will be on SmackDown. Yeah. Sean Ross Sapp was saying, well, Liv is going to be facing Jade. I'm like, that's going to be on SmackDown, dude. Like, I'm not understanding what Sean Ross was trying to say. That's why I said, like, takes, all these reporters, wrestling dirt sheets with a huge grain of salt, because he was just saying, like, it would be a slap in the face for Liv to be on WrestleMania. And then he was saying, well, Liv faces Jade. I said, that's SmackDown, dude. And that still doesn't give us an indication of what's happening at WrestleMania for Liv. If anything, this would be the time for Naomi to come back and kick Jade's ass. So, Liv versus Jade doesn't benefit Liv in any way for plans for WrestleMania. Barbie Girl says Rhea is annoying. She's been very annoying. Like, and like I said, people always want to come at me and saying, like, why you talk about Rhea all the time? You talk about Rhea all the time just because she keeps pulling this shit. Like, how can you not, as a wrestling commentator, if you were talking about wrestling right now, how could you not talk about the ridiculousness of Rhea's character right now? Like, I'm sure you can focus on some other things. Like, I could be talking about Dom and stuff like that. But still, you still have to talk about Rhea, especially when you see that Liv might be on the outside looking in for WrestleMania. Like, I don't think I would be doing what I love as a commentator if I didn't talk about Rhea and the ridiculousness of what she's doing, the ridiculousness of her booking. This goes all the way up to Triple H. Like, his process is extremely fucked. Because there's no way, no how that Rhea should be booked like this. Like, if you, like, why couldn't they just double down on her promo and just have her go through some growth? Like, one of my friends said, it would be really interesting, like, if Bianca just goes up to Liv and say, like, hey, I want to throw you into this triple threat match, but they keep Rhea out some kind of way. Don't reward childish behavior. And that's where I want to go. Like, right now, if Rhea gets into this championship match, it's just rewarding bad behavior. And yeah, that happens in wrestling, but that's a heel type move. But she's not going to be presented as the heel. It's going to be a face. Like, and still to this day, I really don't get that. Like, how can you cheer somebody like a face doing this? This is not a justifying face going up against the heel that's been treating them wrong for years and years and years, and they just finally had enough. Where they do this to force the heel's hand. No, this is a heel move. So she's going to get rewarded for childlike behavior when it shouldn't be like that. All things, all things, all things being said, Rhea should be on the outside looking in. Let's see. Crystal says he is Gable. Now, people are saying that it's not Gable, Crystals. He looks like it, and he might have he might have trained in a mannerism, but it doesn't look like Gable. And Crystal says, we will all have interaction with the simp and lived on. That's the problem. Who is the simp? Barbie Girl says, why Rhea wants another match and she lost WrestleMania? Why can't she stay out without WrestleMania in this? Like, yeah, again, she just keeps pushing until she gets her rematch, and then she keeps pushing the rematch until she wins the title. And that ain't it. Like, everybody else has to fall back to the back of the line, but Rhea doesn't. Barbie Girl says, you think Liv will not get her WrestleMania moment? I'm not sure. If she doesn't, I'm going to be really pissed. Like, if we get down all the way down to WrestleMania and she's still not on a card, I'm going to be extremely pissed. But this build to WrestleMania has just been so off the wall, so chaotic. Like, I can't really predict it anymore. Like, I don't know what Triple H is doing. Crystal says, Julius, he's just been referenced on social media. I ain't paying it on mine. As soon as it gets on TV, then I'll start paying attention to Julius. And Let's see. Elizabeth says Bailey is going after Dom, Liv, and Raquel. Is that what she was saying in her interview? Because I really didn't pay attention to it. I just know Lyra extended the she got next after Raquel. Raquel said just watching Bianca fans panicking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like I'm just sitting here looking at EO fans and Bianca fans just like having a fit about Rhea coming out on top. I'm like, what did y'all expect? We warned you. That's why we didn't want Bianca in this match. Bianca should have been over there in the Jade and Naomi shit. That's the more interesting feud. She's a catalyst in that whole storyline right there. And she could have had something better served with Jade and Naomi than dealing with Io and Rhea. Because now, look at what's going on now. Rhea's over here double stacking them and then coming out on top twice in one night. At least Bianca fans and Io fans don't have to deal with seeing Liv run away from Rhea all the time. We had to see that. We had to see Dom get kicked in the balls and abused and hit where he couldn't fight back. Like, be glad that you don't have Rhea beating up on somebody that can't fight her back fairly. Like, when you get to those levels with Rhea, then y'all would really feel what everybody else went through, Liv, Dom fans included. But they haven't gotten to that yet. Who knows? Maybe it'll change that week, but I doubt it. I bet it's just gonna be Rhea coming out, just bullying her way until she gets up in the match. It's just probably gonna end up like that. It'll be they're pissing everybody off until Io and Bianca say fine, she's in the match. And then we'll still have Liv on the outside looking in, and we still don't know what she's doing for WrestleMania. Bet. Bricola says, Julius looking to get over by trying to inject himself with Liv and Dom. Yeah, that's just him going off on his own. That's why I said if it's not on TV, I'm not paying attention to it. Once it gets on TV, we can pay attention to social media. But until then, I'm not paying Julius no mind. Bricola says he's a good wrestler but has no appeal. Yeah, he has no charisma. I don't know what his character is. Like, I can't differentiate between the two Creed brothers. And that's a shame because I liked them in NXT. Creed brothers, when they were down there and when they were part of the Diamond Mine and when they had their manager there. See, that's when they needed like a charismatic manager. Because when they were down there at NXT and they had a manager, they were good. But now when it's just Chad, see, Chad kind of just overshadows them because he's just such a good character. Like, he has his character down pat on what he wants to do. And it's overshadowing them, and I think it's hurting them. Like, they probably need to separate more from Chad Gable now than ever. And then just try to rebuild their character some type of way. Barbie Girl says, Pierce was yelling at Rhea at Raw, why didn't he expel her? Yeah, like, he should have had, like, security, like, taking her out or something like that. I guess the only good thing with Pierce is that he snatched the contract back and was calling her a child. So I'm kind of glad, like, he wasn't just giving in to her for acting like that. Because, like, really, like, how are you going to yell at Adam Pierce to put you in a match? Like, that just takes balls. And you're not in the match. You lost the title. If Liv can't get a rematch, then you should be able to get a rematch. I don't care what Bianca did to you. Bricola says, yeah, Bailey's going to get Mania for IC, maybe, but that's still going to be boring because, what's the story? We're just going to have a match. This WrestleMania just seems like it's going to be like maybe a few stories and a whole bunch of matches. And they need stories. This is WrestleMania. It's going to be a really boring WrestleMania compared to WrestleMania 40. WrestleMania 40 at least had all the storylines. Cody and Roman. We had Dom and Ray, even though I hated how they had that set up at the end. But at least we had some stories there. Kendall says, hey Kendall, move Rhea to SmackDown ASAP. She needs to go hook up with Tiffany after she loses the title and they can go do something down there. Let's see. Diego says, hey Diego, that was the second time that Dom should have betrayed Finn. It was a perfect time to do so. Yeah, I was really hoping they pulled the trigger. But at this moment, it looks like it's going to be WrestleMania. And as long as Dom wins because of said betrayal, then I'll just have to deal with it. Like, at this point, it's just not... It's not just getting more frustrating over this pulling the trigger. Though I do think he should have pulled the trigger. But at least Dom did something in the interim by actually costing Finn the match. So it wasn't like Dom was just helping Finn and Finn still lost. Dom, had an active role in costing Finn the match, which is something. I mean, that's at least a step further than what he has been doing with Finn later, or as this progresses. Kendall says Braun versus Dom versus Finn versus Penta Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania. Yeah, they can do that. They can even. It can also be a triple threat because Finn got himself pinned and Dom didn't get pinned by Braun Breaker, so you could go like a triple threat where Finn is all pissed about it. That actually might be interesting. Barbie Girl says go to Rhea's page on Twitter. What did she say, Barbie Girl? Is this the one where she's saying make it official, or is it something new? Let's see. Drew posted something where he like curb stomps Damien, and his and the caption is "Eat shit, prick." So Drew is still being a troll. Oh, I gotta repost that. Hold on. I'm still gonna need Drew and Naomi to hook up and just talk shit about everybody. Let's see. What did Rhea Ripley say? I know she's been reposting something. Oh, Rhea did do the what was she said like at the live event? She was saying that Liv was trying to what was it? Darn it. Oh, she was saying that Liv replacing her with Raquel wasn't gonna work. Like as it relates to tag team titles. And I'm like, uh this was aggravating to me, this little comment, because it still rewrites history, because I was saying, look, you turn on Liv in your tag team. Like, Liv wasn't trying to replace you with Raquel back then. You took out Liv, and you were not manipulated by Edge, and you weren't warned about Dom. So why are we lying and rewriting history? Like, that was just aggravating today. Like, what the fuck? You're still lying. You're still lying. After everything that's happened, all this shit, you're still trying to rewrite history with Liv and say like she was the one that replaced you with Raquel. That's just fucked up. We have the videotape. We have the proof. We saw you take out Liv. Liv has not turned on anyone in her career. Anyone. It was always people turning on her. And with Rhea, she had no reason to turn on Liv. Now we're gonna have Rhea lie about it. I'm beyond tired with Liv. Who was it that said they were, just tired of Rhea? I'm really tired of Rhea because they keep trying to rewrite history to make her look better when it doesn't need to be. Look, if you want to keep her as a badass, keep her as a badass. Nobody's rewriting history for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Whatever he does, he does. If he wants to arrive, raise hell, drink beer, and leave, that's what he did. But nobody is sugarcoating what Austin did. If you want to just her to be this Austin type character, let her be the Austin type character and just take the shit. People gonna cheer, they're gonna cheer. But you don't need to keep rewriting history for it. I'm just beyond tired of that. I'm tired of it. Stop rewriting Rhea's history. We don't need to do that anymore. She won the damn feud. She got the title back. She lost the title afterwards, but she got the title back. Stop rewriting the feud. There's no benefit for that anymore. Let's see. Barbie Girl said annoying for Rhea on top. Yep. Barbie Girl says yes. Okay. And Barbie Girl says she's saying it's annoying. She's saying she doesn't have friends. She used to have friends, and then she used them, pretty much, or she turned on them. Like Dom wanted to claim her, she wouldn't allow him to. She wouldn't allow him to claim her. So how are you gonna say that he cheated on her when she wouldn't allow herself to be claimed by Dom? She had a friend to live. She turned on him. Nikki AHS turned on Rhea, but maybe if Nikki saw what other people should have been seeing in Rhea and turned on her first. And after a while, you can't keep using the excuse that you were turned on to keep treating other people shitty. That's like a therapy session. Like, you can't keep doing that. If your fatal flaw is you're always turning on somebody, then she shouldn't have any friends. Ricola says only Rhea fans believe whatever she's saying. Yeah, they're the fans that like join up in the last year and they don't know the history, and that's just really annoying as a wrestling fan, because we always used to get on the WWE by when they would just forget what they did booking wise like a couple of months ago. Remember that? Remember this time where they would book something and then like a few months later undo it, and then they would think that the audience wouldn't remember. Like we bitched then, so we should be bitching now that they're insulting our intelligence but not knowing the history. Kendall says, how do you think JD's return impacts the Dom Finn feud and Judgment Day in general? I don't know. It depends on if they want to him to be a face or not. If they want him to be a face and they can use that as a return, and maybe he could save Finn after the beatdown, but I don't know. All I do know is that Dom pretty much said for him to get his ass back with the period. Um, when JD said no new members, so maybe Dom is kind of getting fed up with JD, or JD sticking up for Finn and not picking a lane. Ricola said Liv destroyed Rhea. She doesn't even know it yet. Yep, because it's just proving that Liv was right. Everything that's come down to in these past couple of months is that Liv was right. And I think that is it. All I can say right now, as it relates to Liv, Dom, Finn, and all them, um, this is wait and see. I totally get the frustration, and right now I'm just on taking it by week. Uh, I'm taking this week by week. I'm gonna bitch all the way. Like I'm not gonna be sitting here saying be patient. Y'all know me. I don't say to be patient. So I'm just gonna be saying to take this week by week. If you're frustrated with the booking, you have every right to be frustrated with the booking, and don't be afraid to let your feelings known. Because right now we have Bianca and Io fans crashing out, so y'all can just be out there saying "I told you so" and get your frustration out there too. I mean, it shouldn't just be now people pay attention to Bianca and Io fans when Liv fans and Dom fans have been saying this for months. So get out there and bitch and moan when things don't make sense or things aren't being pulled. Liv doesn't have a direction, any of that. Make your opinion known. Don't hide it just because somebody want to say, oh, and that's one thing that I'm really tired with Rhea stands, not fans, but stands. It's just like, but Liv has the tag title. She's going to be on the tag match. People keep telling these people nothing has been set up. There's a person that keeps saying, well, they're gonna go up against Nikki and Alexa. Okay, so when is that gonna get set up? Nothing has been set up for Alexa and Nikki to join up. First, you need to get Nikki and Alexa to join up. Then you have to get Alexa and the Wyatt Six to have some kind of connection again. And then maybe you could do something with the Wyatt Six. People keep trying to say like, oh, Judgment Day is going to fight up against the Wyatt Six. They're on a different brand, and even though this is WrestleMania, they haven't been seen. So how are you going to force a Judgment Day Wyatt Six match, which makes no sense, and they were still down a man at WrestleMania, and there's no story. What are you going to be coming after Judgment Day for? Betrayal? But there's a lot of other people that's been betrayed. Like, why aren't you going after Kevin Owens? Why aren't you going after John Cena again for betrayal? There's a lot of other targets you can be targeting other than Judgment Day. But yeah, just use this time, these next weeks going into WrestleMania, just to make your voices known, make your opinion known. If you want to bitch, go ahead and bitch. Don't feel like you can't bitch. If people want to complain about it, block them. That's what I've been doing. I've been straight blocking people on the X. Like, there's a difference between just doing some regular debate and exchanging some ideas, and then there's just people that just want to talk down to you or just laughing about you, like saying, Slim is going to be in a tag team match, So I'm just blocking. So if you want to see it, if you don't, if curate your timeline. I still get people that sneak through, but curate the timeline. I get enough people on there that gives me some reasonable, opposite-minded discussion without it just being like a Rhea stands all over the place. So, and please pay attention to the Mexican side or the Spanish side of Twitter or the X because they really don't like Rhea. And if you can get on that side of the X, you could get some really
cool opinions, and I've been retweeting that because I like staying on that part of the X because they have some really great opinions and they really tell it like it is too. So get on that side of the X. So to wrap it up, all's not well between Dom and Finn. Finn pretty much exposed himself like the snake that he is, and he paid for it with the title. I'm pretty, it could be interesting to say that maybe Dom would have helped Finn more if Finn was more appreciative, and maybe that comes out. Like, hey, I was gonna be out there to help you, but then you called me a snake. Like, why would you help somebody after they call you a snake? That's just hurting yourself. And Dom's kind of already been through that with Rhea and Damien, so um, you know, he just had to teach Finn a lesson, and Finn lost his championship opportunity. So that's that, and then we just keep an eye on the on this Rhea, Bianca, and ELP, and then keep an eye on Saturday for Jade versus Liv on SmackDown, and Barbie Girl says people say Liv will go to SmackDown and challenge Tiffany. Like if she wins, I don't think Tiffany's going to win this. I'm thinking that's Charlotte, and I really think Liv and Dom are a Netflix act. So, but who knows? Maybe that happens after WrestleMania. I don't know. Friday, it will be Liv versus Liv versus Jade. We'll see what happens like coming up for next week. That's gonna be Raquel versus Lyra, and like I said, I kind of hope Raquel wins just so we just have that difference of Dom helping Raquel helping her win, and then Dom helping Finn he loses, or Finn just being like his normal self and he loses. So it might be interesting. Thanks for tuning in to the Wrestling Receipts podcast. Remember to follow me on the X at WMaven, WWE, and on TikTok at WriterMaven for more wrestling insights and live reactions every Monday night after Raw. Until next time, I'm just saying.